It's often said that the most dangerous people in a corporate structure are the ones everyone considers the support. I was exactly that person. Lena. 38 years old, a senior tech analyst. My life was defined by my ability to manage complex data architectures, flag systemic risk, and maintain digital security for my clients in Silicon Beach. An invisible anchor. My success was quiet, my temperament analytical. My husband, Michael, was loud, charismatic, and convinced that his worth was measured purely by his ability to take credit. For 4 luxurious years, we had resided in a facade, our $4 million Spanish colonial dream home in the hills overlooking Los Angeles, a meticulous, polished image structurally dependent upon a financial and personal deception that only I, the invisible analyst, was maintaining. I adored the house. I had designed the automated systems, managed the complex, layered mortgages, and set the long-term investment strategies. Michael merely wore the proud owner's mask. He was a mid-level executive always on the cusp of the next big thing, living on an aggressive credit line and his own self-belief. His sole management contribution was boasting about his $500,000 crypto portfolio, untaxed, untraceable, a symbol of freedom he often waved dismissively, protected, he believed, by his technical savvy. That single Friday morning, I found a deeper lie. A fundamental, criminal fraud that went beyond merely cheating. I was in my marble kitchen, the precise scent of cocoa bean already filling the air, a classic comfort meal to welcome Michael home from his critical business trip to Chicago. I'd sat down at the shared laptop to perform my routine, boring maintenance, initiating the monthly $16,000 mortgage wire. The site automatically entered his credentials into the password recovery tab, not the login. I was about to manually enter the correct password when I saw the familiar but wrong primary email address autofill in the user line. I clicked on the user line out of duty, not suspicion. It was a burner account, Michael_CaliLife@outlook.com. One tap brought me into a completely isolated digital vault. The initial dread of finding a sex photo was instantly overridden by a cold, surgical reality. I wasn't looking at infidelity, I was looking at bigamy. Folder names jumped out, Samantha photos, registry files, and finally, Vegas certs. Inside was the ultimate, irrefutable criminal documentation, a beautiful, crisp photo of another woman, younger, overly tanned, standing next to Michael holding up an official Nevada marriage certificate, dated 3 months prior. He had legally married her. The bigamist. Any normal person would have screamed, thrown the laptop at the wall, and succumbed to abject grief. My analytical mind overrode the human one. Every second of screaming meant financial failure. I knew my husband's weaknesses intimately, his belief in the sanctity of his crypto and his unwavering faith in his own minimal cybersecurity skills. He was due back from LAX in less than 2 hours. I had 120 minutes to complete the financial equivalent of a nuclear attack. I pulled open the utility drawer, not for the kitchen scissors, but for the micro USB holding my cold storage wallet, the Ledger Nano. It had remained untouched and separate from our marital economy for 4 years, holding the initial capital I'd used to fund my first startup days years ago. That money was my clean money, my defense. I would use it now to shield myself from a criminal enterprise. The battle of my life would be fought on the kitchen counter, quietly, between the blender and the cutting board. T+3 minutes, the Zero Wallet protocol begins. I logged into Michael's crypto exchange accounts, multiple accounts, but all of them using the same easily guessable root password I had long flagged as a security risk. His primary, most liquid asset, Bitcoin and various altcoins valued at $500,000, appeared on the screen. The financial future of Michael was right there, vulnerable and waiting. His two-factor authentication, 2FA, was routed to his corporate cell line, a line he had forgotten to give to the office manager when I managed the complex family mobile provisioning plan a year ago. It was a digital backdoor only I could access. T+6 minutes, the liquidation and exfiltration. My hands, normally shaking after 3 cups of coffee, were steady. I initiated the irreversible process on the main BTC holdings. The full amount, $400,000 in BTC, along with his highly speculative and legally ambiguous NFT portfolio, was converted instantly to a highly obscure privacy token that shuffled the funds through 3 international nodes I chose specifically for their difficulty in producing client data. The funds were then quietly landed inside my personal, off-the-grid hardware wallet. The move was designed to be not only irreversible but also forensically daunting, a nightmare for any civil attorney. T+9 minutes, traditional asset lockdown. The crypto was safe. Next, the conventional financial world. Using the fraud alert compliance protocols of our shared bank, which gave him zero discretion in challenging the action, I remotely locked every single joint checking and savings account under the predicate of irreversible financial fraud exposure due to criminal behavior, bigamy. I cancelled all shared debit cards and credit lines attached to my SSN. His purchasing power on the ground instantly reverted to zero. His corporate card, which he would attempt to use to escape his financial catastrophe, was cancelled by an immediate email flag sent directly to his company's CIO, a former client of mine, citing unauthorized usage of assets. T+12 minutes, the legal firewall. I didn't stop to admire the catastrophic financial data flow. I called my lawyer, a severe and terrifying woman named Mr. Evans, who had already reviewed my pre-prepared case file, the bigamy contingency file. The certificate is valid, I informed Mr. Evans, my voice on the speakerphone, low and steady above the low simmering sauce. File an emergency petition for dissolution under extreme financial distress and bigamy as the predicate. I am the first filer. Have him digitally served at T+130 minutes. I had beaten him. I removed his money, secured my financial ground, filed first to establish judicial positioning, and did it all before the shallots had fully caramelized. T+115 minutes, the homecoming. Michael walked in, throwing his bag into the hallway, smelling of airport security and cheap cologne. Lena. That was a massive success. We're going to be rich, babe. Let's celebrate. Get an Uber, my card must be blocked from overexcitement. Can you throw your card in, and I'll pay you back tomorrow? His smile faltered when my face did not reflect his excitement. And then it collapsed entirely when his phone buzzed a digital alert for excessive transfer blocked. What the hell is this? He fumbled with the bank app, the error message, account HOLD, REPORTEDAS fraud activity. That's me, I confirmed, walking over and placing an uncreased printout of the Nevada marriage certificate on the granite counter next to the simmering pot. It's my report of extreme financial fraud and criminal deception. You are currently in a state of bigamy, Michael, and therefore, every single cent shared in this joint marriage estate is legally debatable under the predicate of marital fraud. The ensuing shouting match was everything the analyst in me had predicted: denial, anger, then pleading. He screamed that I was destroying his status, his life, and his reputation. When he finally threatened to take his money, the crypto, out of the damn bank, I placed the final weapon calmly on the counter, a notarized statement of fact detailing the BTC transfer to the offshore key. The money you are referencing, I said calmly, looking him dead in the eye, currently resides in an escrow account that I exclusively control, Michael. It was transferred minutes after I saw this marriage certificate, citing my personal clean funds as the legal basis. You taught me how easy it was to move keys. You were just slow at anticipating my move. You were a day late, and over $500,000 short. The color drained from his face permanently. He wasn't crying over the adultery, he was hyperventilating over a 6-figure financial loss and an impending felony charge. He realized his power was an illusion maintained by my silent compliance. The fallout, the alliance with the other victim. Michael hired an expensive, snarling, old-school lawyer named Mr. Barnes, who came out swinging, accusing me of crypto theft, hacking, and premeditated malice. Mr. Evans, my attorney, countered with a cold, devastating clarity. The moment Matthew entered a legally certified second marriage under false premises, the first marriage dissolved under fraud. All actions Ms. Lena took were to protect her personal finances from his demonstrated, criminal history of financial deception. The criminal aspect of bigamy made every one of Michael's protestations sound like a criminal attempting to protect illicit assets. The most shocking move came from me. I used the hidden email account to contact Samantha, the second wife, who was, quite literally, only 3 months into a new world full of credit card debt and loans from Michael she thought were ours. Samantha, initially defensive, became my most powerful ally. He took nearly $20,000 from my personal savings just last month to flip a crypto coin, she sobbed on the phone. He lied about everything. We filed a joint civil suit, Wife 1 and Wife 2 versus the man who conned them, against Michael for damages, emotional distress, and reimbursement of the wedding costs. The narrative was perfect. 2 powerful women were fighting legal white-collar crime. Michael's firm immediately put him on forced administrative leave, fearing the negative publicity and SEC involvement. The house, the $4 million dream home, was a shell. I walked away with the majority of the liquidated assets, his financial reputation destroyed, and the most satisfying prize, exoneration from his entire financial criminal mess. Michael, facing both wives and the legal reality of bigamy penalties, settled quickly. He signed away any rights to the remaining equity in what he discovered was simply just a house I had maintained until he spoiled it. The entire collapse of the bigamist was a beautifully orchestrated, highly professional event I executed in the time it takes to boil water. The technical skills of a boring analyst were not used to build a network but to establish my own perimeter, securing my freedom and my future, 1 minute and 1 digital asset at a time. I returned to the kitchen only to finish my cocoa vin, the sweet scent of cooking now signifying the clean scent of well-earned independence.